Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hearthstone Grandmasters, day number 1 of the final week of competition, as we are in the middle of the playoffs. It's playoffs weeks. It's relegation week. Who is going to the top 4? We already have one player who's booked this ticket, Eddie, who has gotten to the top 4 every single season so far. And he's going to be joined by another person from this group. And it's a rematch from the very beginning of the day, which is lnguagehackr versus Empanizado.
Yep, and this was a series. It really went down to the wire. It was one of the closest series we've seen. I mean, I feel like a lot of our series have been close today, but it was a really, really fun one. So I'm looking forward to seeing this again. Obviously, lnguagehackr was the one who just barely won it out 3-2 with this deck list, or these deck lists rather. But can he do it again?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the way the first series transpired,
Sure.
It did come down to some of those mirrors, but lnguagehackr, for example, played the Warlock mirror and won that, but then Empanizado won the Druid mirror, and then it ended with another mirror with the Demon Hunter. So it really could go either way. The deck lists don't seem too different, except for Spell Druid. The Spell Druid from Empanizado versus the Spell Druid from lnguagehackr are very different. So
Yeah.
we will see if that ends up being the difference maker once more, because it felt like Empanizado had the unstoppable dragon army for that, but at the same time, it also felt like he pretty much just drew like the ideal curve for that, getting the ramp with the dragons in hand.
Right.
We might not even see that, though. We're going to start things off with, looks like to be Druid versus Warlock, lnguagehackr on his Spell Druid, and Warlock for Empanizado.
Yeah, I'm not super convinced with the dragon list for Druid yet, but it's worked for most of the time, so we'll see if we get to that. He'll have to get a win with it either way, but we're starting off with the Druid versus Warlock this time, lnguagehackr with his Spell Druid with less dragons, and then Empanizado with the Quest Warlock. Pretty standard stuff in that one.
All right, so we're going to go into the first game. lnguagehackr is a full mulligan. Empanizado doesn't really have much to consider keeping outside of the quest. I don't think Dark Skies is really important in the beginning, because even if Dark Skies needed to come out, it's not a great job at checking a Glowfly Swarm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those cards that can be a little bit more of a dead draw in this particular matchup. Decides to go ahead and keep it, though. Finds another one. All right. I mean, there are times, I suppose, where you can use it to close out possibly most of a board, right? Where maybe that takes enough damage off the board to let you live for one more turn or something.
Sure, and I mean, Dark Skies by no means is a bad keep. I just don't know if it's necessary. A lot of the times,
yeah,
against Druid.
I can't recall a lot of instances where I've been like, wow, that was a great Dark Skies against that Druid's board in the current meta, so we'll see. A little bit of a slow start for lnguagehackr here. He's got the Overgrowth, but until he gets there, it's going to be a little bit less ramp than usual. Unless he draws. Nope, does not draw into any ramp there. No
It's okay.
wild growth, so never mind.
Yeah, as long as he gets the Overgrowth, and as long as Empanizado's not drawing too many cards, he'll feel okay. That's a good pickup here from Empanizado.
Yeah, Questing Explorer is great. We talked about this before in some of the other matchups. He's going to tap anyway, but some players like having the Questing Explorer out there just so they can put a little bit of pressure on the Druid, because the Druid does struggle with dealing with that 3 health minion.
Yeah.
But wow. I'm kind of surprised he didn't play that.
I'm just reacting to the fact that lnguagehackr picked up Overgrowth or Overflow, so he's gonna ramp perfectly into it. But it's okay, because he ends up playing the Acidic Swamp Ooze and the Questing Explorer. But if you kind of anticipated this being the play, then he just missed 2 damage, so to speak. But like you don't know if he is going to have that play. That's the whole thing. So he tapped because it might change his play, and that's like a fundamentals thing that Empanizado has probably beat into his brain. You want to draw first.
Right.
Totally reasonable.
You do draw with the Questing Explorer, though. I don't know. It's interesting. Overflow for lnguagehackr, as you would expect.
Right.
And, okay, so he does find an exotic Mount Seller, so possibly a big Mount Seller turn coming up here.
Yeah, this I guess this Moonfire can go away, because it doesn't really matter if something's at 1 health. versus 2, I guess, in your opinion, because you can hero power it down. I like having the innervate as well. But maybe in Language Hacker's mind, it's also worth killing this this acidic swamp ooze.
Maybe not. He'll get around to it.
I can't justify a reason to try and expend a lot of resources. Just kind of let it live.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I like this by Empanizado. Just getting a big minion out on the board. You know your opponent's probably going to have their first big board building turn as a druid coming into this one. And which language hacker will one way or another. And so you want to be ready for that. You want to have something that can answer that. And the 8/8 is nice. So would you go for a Glowfly turn or would you go for a Mount Seller turn here?
Oh, wow. If you go for the Mount Seller turn and you use all of your cards, you have no spells left for Glowfly Storm. So I think Glowfly Storm makes the most sense.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Kinda
sounded like a good question as I asked it, but now it sounds like a really dumb question.
Well, I mean, it's a valid question. I mean, sometimes the Mount Seller is just more stats and more power. So in this case, for Empanizado, like Dark Skies isn't great. He was actually ahead on board, which is something that you don't always get to anticipate. And part of me wonders if Empanizado should simply just play another Abyssal Summoner and go upstairs.
Yeah, that's actually what I was about to advocate. Is just send it face. It's on those flies, man. They have to be the one getting through your taunt. You're not going to efficiently clear these things anyway. It's got the death rattle. Dark Skies doesn't help because it's going to hit your own minions too.
Caveat to that is that these taunts are at 8/8, and that makes it really convenient for Savage Lord to clear. Like, overwhelmingly convenient.
Oh, yeah. I suppose, though. He does go to face with the 8 damage. Second Mount Seller gets drawn.
Well, here's an awkward thing. Language Hacker doesn't have enough board space for Mount Seller to be relevant here, so he actually should Fungal Fortunes.
Which he's going to do. Does he discard the Asera? Hopefully not. I'm worried about the reaction, and yes, he does. He discarded the Asera. I saw that reaction. I'm like, oh no. I know what's about to happen.
Language Hacker's pretty intense today. It's
an intense day.
Oh yeah, he came to play. I'm not shaming that at all. I like that. I like that intensity. I feel like, if anything, you know, the expressiveness has amplified the fun factor of watching Language Hacker.
Oh yeah, for sure. Dude is wearing his gaming emotions on his gamer sleeve right now, and why wouldn't he be? You know, it is that kind of day. It is do or die.
He really wants badly to find that Sour Drawer, but there's just no such thing. He can pretty much just go through the hard way. Another thing, a nice consolation prize would have been the Savage Roar. Sorry, they sold the forest.
Right.
Looks like he can just simply dump a little bit of his hand.
Okay.
And then chill here.
Yeah, I mean, I like saving as much as you can, using the spell instead of using your minion.
He doesn't hero power though, so missed 1 life, I guess. 1 armor.
True.
Not a big deal. I don't feel like when Warlock wins this matchup, it's usually by like 1 or 2 health. It's usually like they blow you out type game.
Yeah, in Demon Hunter, it's the situation where it's like, oh man, 1 health. But not so much with this one. This is a great play now for Empanizado. Gets the 2 damage Rain of Fire because of the Morag Artificer.
And in a way, Language Hacker's also okay with that, because now this unit's within Fog Beam range, or I guess his Crystal Power Claw. Savage Roar the turn after. It's okay, he's got his exotic Mount Seller.
Yep.
I supply only the finest creatures.
Alright, what does he get? 3/3.
Nice Wasp.
Where are those King Muklas?
Yeah, or Zixor is actually probably one of the best pickups you can have too, because you can just present threats. There's merit to just using another Claw here, so you can just kill off. You definitely want to kill off that Morag Artificer. And so generating another threat for like the Saboteur in hand is like a possibility.
The claw makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, he can already kill it, I guess, but
Time waits for no one.
one more minion.
If Claw said give you 2 armor, summon a random 3-cost beast, I think I'd still play it.
Yeah, for 1 mana, that sounds pretty good. It's a Birdemic. He gets another
Oh
one.
yeah, lots of ravens.
Yeah. Malagos. Okay. So what's the play here? Double Dark Skies? Is that clear? How many? 9 plus... It'd be 9 plus 8. 17, right? So 12 plus... Yeah, so it would be... Double Dark Skies would be a clear, I believe.
That would be a clear. I think you can hold off on Keladon that way, which is good. I like that as an option. You even get to life tap while doing that. Seems really good.
Yeah. Life tap first. And then the skies grow doubly dark. Perhaps.
Yes. The sky is dark, full of warlocks.
That's right. Full of green meteors.
Is Empanizado considering not double dark skies?
Yeah, I think because it seems like such an obvious play, you almost want to take the extra time to really think through your options to make sure you're not missing something.
Right. And now Language Hacker gets to play the exotic Mount Seller and Wild Growth with excess mana and draw.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a weak turn demonstrated by Empanizado, and if Language Hacker can get his momentum going yet still...
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, wow.
Another minion.
Yeah, sure.
More ravens.
And he draws into nothing. Okay, so double Power of the Wild. So Language Hacker being like, please don't clear my board, please don't clear my board. But guess what? Most of that board's getting cleared.
So clear board. And with Ysera discarded, Language Hacker really does not have any way to set up a large offensive. This is going to go pretty much south from this point on. Language Hacker does not have a legitimate threat anymore.
Well, does he have one more Soul of the Forest?
He does.
He does. So there's a chance he could still build a Glowfly Soul of the Forest build that was like okay. Then maybe Savage Orb, but no, that wouldn't be enough damage, would it? Even if everything lived. So yeah, if you're Language Hacker right now, you're kind of anticipating this one not going your way.
Yes. Very much so.
All right. Just try to draw and see what he gets. Fog Beam, no, that ain't it. You're not dead yet though.
He's not dead. He also saw another wave of AoE, so this might be the opportunity to play Glowfly Storm. I know Language Hacker looks very stressed, but if he analyzes this and, you know, was able to even somehow tap into the caster vision and see both hands, he should be able to recognize that Glowfly Storm here is still has a window of opportunity. It's not great. It can easily get destroyed by a single Netherwing.
Yep.
But I don't think he has a choice of waiting here because he has double Savage Roar.
Yeah, and you really want to wait for something like Soul of the Forest as well. He just was not drawing it. 4 cards left in the deck, and one of them is that.
Yep.
Yep, plays a Glowfly Swarm, so 6 minions in total on the board at least.
Okay,
Explorer.
That's not AoE, but he could play the Questing Explorer and draw
Definitely.
and finish the quest.
Good plot twist for that Nether Wing as well.
Yeah, it is leaving it up to chance, but there's a strong likelihood that he's able to figure out what's going to happen. And Language Hacker praying again. But Empanizado takes up the Nether Wing.
Yep. All right, that's another wing, so that should be about it then.
And the Keladon, that's funny.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I totally forgot Keladon is still available as well. So multiple ways for Empanizado to remove what is effectively the last threat Language Hacker can produce with this deck.
And that's going to do it. Language Hacker concedes. Empanizado takes the first win. And what could be one of the big comebacks this season. Empanizado started off the Swiss tournaments with a tournament victory. He won. He got first place in week number 1. And then from that week onward, Empanizado seemed to be performing worse and worse. It's hard, right? Because you can't always just win every single tournament you play in Hearthstone.
Of course, yeah.
But he was not able to replicate that performance. Then he was able to get into Division A, but then Division A, he kind of had like another middling performance. Looked like he might have actually been in danger of relegation, but able to put together a couple of wins at the end. And, you know, be a nice comeback for him to bookend the beginning and the end of the season with a really strong performance.
Right. And if you kind of think about the psychological position that both these players are at, a Language Hacker was able to narrowly win that first one, and then he had to kind of sit and watch, you know? And there's pros and cons to that. One is that, and you know, a pro is that you get to see what everybody else is playing, you get more research time in, maybe a couple more practice games you feel like. But then the con is that, you know, maybe that suspense, that the tension is building throughout all of that as well. Whereas Empanizado is just playing, you know? He's just playing and try to stay in it. He's fresh, like his mind is 100% Hearthstone right now, which can give you a little bit of an edge in situations like that.
That's right. So with that, it'll be exciting to see if Empanizado can rewrite history, because previously Language Hacker was able to win 3-2.
Yep.
But, you know, we don't really think about the Druid being the weak link of the lineup right now. We think about Warlock potentially being cornered, and Language Hacker, perhaps even more so than him being upset losing a favorable matchup, is the fact that Warlock has gotten through.
Yes. Now it is Warlock versus Demon Hunter for game number 2, between the rematch between Language Hacker and Empanizado.
No.
See if Language Hacker can tie it up.
All right, so with this opening hand here, Empanizado, I mean, he's got quality cards in his hand. Based off the way we've been seeing stuff, usually you keep at least a little bit of that. Empanizado full mulligans. I guess he wants the aggressive start.
I guess so. Huh. I mean, he did get an aggressive start, no doubt. Oh my. Wow. That is really going all out. Using one of the twin slices to buff his Battle Fiend up.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your opponent going to do? Coin into a Nether Breath when they should be playing the quest? Probably not. So, Empanizado just saying, hey, I can just guarantee myself a minimum of 4 damage on turn 2.
Yeah, and, you know, Empanizado has... I mean, Language Hacker doesn't really have a lot of ways to deal with it, so he just has to kind of accept this damage, and...
Yeah.
Empanizado totally fine with just keeping up the pressure here.
So here's the question. You're going into a turn where you know your opponent is going to have access to that AoE. I suppose they did already with a coin into Dark Skies, but if you play something else, that's going to make them probably drop it. So do you just keep pushing in? Because this Battle Fiend is going to do more and more damage, right?
Well,
so you're going to be able to draw something out.
You kind of expect your opponent to start picking apart your board, like Mark, Artificer plus Mortal Coil,
right?
Dark Skies, Nether Breath.
Still some pretty big damage turns early on. Empanizado already whittling Language Hacker down to 18.
Yeah, he is. I worry Empanizado's gonna run out of gas.
Yeah, that's always the worry with Demon Hunter, but you know, he did all this damage with essentially 3 cards, right? So if you told me, all right, you're going to use 3 cards and do 12 damage in 3 turns, I'd be like, that sounds pretty good. So he's still got a lot of resources to use, but now it's just going to be hard to get anything to stick, right?
Yeah, I guess the other way to look at it, though, is your opponent used only 1 card to effectively stop the 3, and then your opponent also, you technically only did 10, your opponent dealt 2 themselves. But
yeah, I suppose.
The takeaway is that if your opponent heals back a big portion of it, then what do? You just got it completely outvalued. Now, that's a really important draw.
Yeah.
That's like Empanizado. That may have bailed out Empanizado, because I think if he just played his Warglaves this turn, he loses on the spot. Acidic Swamp, who's Incense Demon. And in fact, he still might be incentivized to think that he should play Warglaves of Azzinoth here and get kind of demolished by the Acidic Swamp, who's Incense Demon's play.
Yeah. It feels this is such a stressful turn for the Demon Hunter player because you're so worried. You're so worried about the Swampoos being in there. And yeah, you might as well get one attack in just in case.
Oh, this is brutal.
Yeah.
Especially with Morg Artificer in hand, that means Language Hacker's guaranteed to draw Aranasi Broodmother, and this ooze. Oof.
Yep. Farewell, Warglaves. Or at least the first set of them anyway. Sightless Watcher.
Those without eyes truly see.
Skull of Gul'dan.
Yeah,
That's
I think that's what
really
you take.
big.
Yeah, guaranteeing a Skull of Gul'dan with Outcast your next turn.
Yeah. And I guess maybe you just power it onto the board then. Frozen Shadow Weaver and Blazing Battle Mage. That's pretty weak to a Crazed Netherwing, but maybe you feel desperate enough that you have to extend onto the board.
Gets one damage into hand, avoids playing the Blazing Battle Mage. I think you're right where, you know, you can just sort of present that bigger threat on the board, draw more clear out, and then refill with Skull.
No Dragon in hand, otherwise Language Hacker would be able to just heal completely back up to full. Guess he's just going to go ahead and plot twist.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Needs to find some more removal, otherwise Language Hacker might just actually keel over and die. Okay, he does heal at least with that. Finds another breath.
Yeah, this is not that bad for Language Hacker. 2 away from completing the quest. Probably want another Breath of 4/3, or do you want to wait and try to find another Morg Artificer, maybe?
I mean, it's pretty greedy to not Nether Breath here. It's an 8 health swing.
Right.
You're gaining, like, effectively 8 because you get to take 4 power off the board.
Alas, poor
Fair enough.
warlock.
Okay. Okay. Okay, not bad.
Bad. Not too amazing. Well, pair of Scoundrel. Getting another Skull Gul'dan, though? That'd be sick.
So you could do something like Chaos Strike for the draw, then kill the Ooze, and that benefits Satyr Overseer, and then use Scout for another spell. So you could build a little bit of a board here, still push in 3 damage to face. Gonna go for the Scoundrel first.
Oh, I-Beam.
Yeah.
I-Beam is interesting because then you... I guess you can just send the 2 damage phase, so I-Beam also means plus 2 damage to your opponent.
Right.
I grow impatient.
I wonder if he's thinking about Consume Magic for the Abyssal Summoner.
It's an interesting idea. Gonna go with the I-Beam instead. So able to preserve his board state a bit.
They're just going to restrain, doesn't want to overextend.
Oh,
And
wow.
he is right to do so. Language Hacker can go ahead and play Crazed Netherwing and Plot Twist and have his quest done for next turn.
Does not seem bad, having a 5/5 on the board. And then
5/5 on the board, quest done. You kind of ditch your hand, which is not really active right now, like Soulfire, Rain of Fires, Mortal Coils. Those aren't really doing a lot of things of high impact.
Zephyrus and Alexstrasza not usable yet.
Right,
So, yeah.
exactly.
Oh, he's not going to do it, though.
All right.
Not even going to tap.
I don't want to lose any more life to the Demon Hunters, so that was the biggest thing.
Maybe part of it is he didn't want to get rid of the Netherwing. Second Netherwing.
Sure, that's possible. Another possibility is that he's very close to activating Zephyrus and Dragon Queen, and I haven't been able to track like all the pairs that he's played.
Could be. 15 cards left in the hand. or left in the deck, not the hand. That'd be a big hand.
We're with you.
It looks like he's only missing one card, and it's Abyssal Summoner. Unless he's played he hasn't also played a Questing Explorer, but I think those are the only two duplicates.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a tough spot to be in. Language Hacker looks like he might just die anyways.
It's a really strong board. You're not. I mean, I guess you're gonna have. Well, you're not gonna have the Crazy Netherwing because you don't have a. Oh, you know, you do have a dragon in the hand.
Oh, his quest was 19 out of 20, so that's just waited for the natural draw anyways.
I suppose.
That Questing Explorer is a dead draw, so now Language Hacker with no active Zephyrus, that does confirm to me that the last card that he was waiting for on top of this is the Abyssal Summoner.
Sure.
Go ahead and Mortal Coil first to draw, and then Hero Power.
Possibility.
Wouldn't you want to Hero Power first to see if that changes your play at all?
I would think so, right?
Like if you drew Caladan, Hero Power, play Caladan, play Aranasi Bruised Mother.
Yeah. Because so if you played the Netherwing first, what would you be pairing that with? You know, I mean, I guess Hero Power, but all right. Mortal Coil. It's gonna do a draw that way, and
oh, he wants to increase the amount of cards he can for Plot Twist.
right. Also, shuffling things around a bit might activate Zephyrus and Alexstrasza as well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, now he's got the Malagos in hand.
Oh, he finds the Broodmother. Huge.
Yep. Okay.
5 from the Metamorphosis, 3 from the Warglaves, 4 from the Hero Power, 5, or yeah, another 1 from Second Slice. That's 10 damage I count right now.
Right. Can't quite put together lethal, I suppose, but
Wow. That Broodmother was so important to draw.
yeah.
But, you know, he's not out of the woods just yet. However, this Morg Artificer Nether Breath is huge. So if I'm Empanizado, and I'm counting Metamorphosis damage, I think I have to prioritize killing this Netherwing. No, you can just use Morg Artificer or Nether Breath on your own minion.
Right.
Time grows short.
Yeah,
I was
just gonna
thinking,
go ahead
like, if you want to be clever and not play any minions here. But, you know, with Morg Artificer stuff, you always know that you're going to get for it.
right. It's always worth it to hit your own minions if it means, you know, living.
Is it cold in the shadow?
Goes ahead and does the freeze at least to avoid the damage. Alexstrasza and Zephyr still not active.
Yeah. And it's still not, like, out of the woods, because if his opponent draws a Glavebound Adept, he's still in a similar spot. The alternative would be to Nether Breath and then play Abyssal Summoner.
Okay.
Or rather, the other way around. Abyssal Summoner first, then Nether Breath.
Right. He's gonna tap.
Okay,
Oh,
that tap
no.
was pretty
Dead.
useless, so now he's got a Morg Artificer, Nether Breath.
Yeah. Not getting
And hope.
anything at all from
Yep.
the tap. Well, it is at least 8 life. That's 12. So, similar situation to last turn. Umberwing, not the draw Empanizado was looking for.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about how holding cards like the Gleefbound Adept might be more important. I mean, look how much damage Empanizado is short. He's short by 3 or 4 damage. And it's not about, you know, like, obviously the landscape of the game would have changed, but, you know, I don't think cards like Frozen Shadow Weaver are particularly really impressive in this matchup and other early game minions. And so if this ends up being the case where Empanizado just barely misses out on damage, I do kind of have to wonder if mulliganing away powerful cards like the Gleefbound Adept ends up being a choice that he ends up regretting later on.
Possibly. He is 1 damage short of lethal right now. Uses, oh no, wait, that's the second slice. I thought that was the first slice yet. So 2 damage short.
Time grows
Yeah,
short.
a couple short, but it feels very far.
Yes, it does.
And now, Language Hacker, waiting to see the rest of the cards. Empanizado's been holding a couple, but he knows another thing is second slice. Finds the coin off the top, but now he has an opportunity.
Well, let's see. How much damage is Rain of Fire plus Malagos here? Because it'd be 9 plus 6, 15? Nah, that's not enough, is it? Has to draw. Find some Mortal Coil.
If that is an Alexstrasza still off the top, it's a good spot.
True.
Another Rain of Fire. So now it comes down to Abyssal Summoner. And once more, in a spot that I think is all too familiar here. I even wonder if you should be trading with any of these minions versus going face.
Yeah, you probably should. I mean,
it does matter for I-Beam. Here we go. Last card.
the I-Beam. It does get drawn.
It mattered. The trade mattered.
Yeah. No, it was what you needed to do for sure. Because now your opponent can't get through that 7/7. I don't think there's a way out for Empanizado here.
I grow
if you I-Beam the 5/5, you go up to 20, you're still alive in your books.
I guess so. I mean, we know that there's Melganis double Rain of Fire on the other side.
Well, he can't do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He
Language
killed himself.
Hacker
Never
would
mind. Yeah.
Demons.
No, you can't really do that at 3 health, that's for sure.
Wait, there's a way he can go for a tie, though, if he absolutely needed to.
That's hilarious.
He could Plague of Rain of Fire once, and then Rain of Fire for 6, and that would bring him to 20 damage.
So,
Am I miscounting?
or Rain of Fire without the Malagos out there, you mean, or?
Yeah, so you Rain of
Okay,
Fire
yeah.
once. Oh, wow, he's just got Soul Fire, so that's...
Oh, never mind.
I think that's it? Yes, that's it.
Is it? Yes, he's got...
He's counting many times over just to make sure.
13 plus 9. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. What a close game. But it's funny that Language Hacker had a backup option of tying in case it was really bad.
Right? Not seen a tie in a competitive game of Hearthstone in a very, very long time. When's the last time you saw one?
Earlier this season.
Oh,
We
really?
actually had our first tie in a very long time as well. We had a tie last year as well with I think you would appreciate this. We had a Control Warrior mirror tie,
Oh no.
which was something else. But
It's a 3-hour game, sounds like.
yes, earlier this season we actually had a legitimate tie where it wasn't like, oh, the turn timer ran out, which is kind of what happened last time. In fact, we also had a tie for the final round of standings, which costed Race and Purple. It was like a really important match between them, and then Race ended up getting relegated later on. So we've had some pretty impactful ties in
memorable.
Hearthstone so far.
Would have been an impactful tie as well, but Empanizado, or Language Hacker rather, finding the win with the Warlock in the end. So that means it is just Druid and Demon Hunter facing off. It's a best of 3 between 2 classes now. Are we going to get the mirror, though, I wonder? Let's find out. No, we won't. Druid versus Demon Hunter. Language Hacker on the Druid, and Empanizado on the Demon Hunter. A battle to stay alive in the season. Still going to be a Grandmaster, but you want to make it to Sunday and want to make it to the Final 4.
Yep, that's right. Language Hacker with the Druid can maybe turn his fortunes around if he gets a unfavorable win, but Empanizado, I'm feeling him for this matchup. If everything, of course, goes to plan, it's not going to be very clean. If he has this kind of curve, he needs to mulligan for a much better start. Even throws away the Satyr Overseer, which I think I definitely am leaning towards that way because turn 1 is very important against Druid. And maybe less important now, though, because Language Hacker is playing 2 Claws on top of his Crystal Powers.
You know, I like this adaptation for the Druid deck to run a couple Claws just to handle things like this because, you know, it's been a storyline with a lot of Druid games through a lot of matches over the last few weeks where it's like, well, you know, an early minion, even a 1/2, can cause a lot of havoc for the Druid player, so I like it. Claw's a good idea.
And this opening hand here for Language Hacker.
Uh-oh. Lost 1 Mount Seller.
Yeah, that stings, but the most important minion for him long-term is the Ysera Unleashed.
Shadow Weaver Freezes the
What
face.
a
Okay.
pickup here. That's huge.
No kidding. No ramp to play. Doesn't matter. You found the Bog Beam to kill the 4-3.
Well, next turn he can go ahead and coin out the Glowfly Swarm if he so desires as well.
All I see is weakness.
But if he does, he's asking to get super punished by Warglaives of Azeroth.
Yeah, I think that's
We're with you.
kind of the scary part about this. You know, do you maybe want to prioritize waiting until you have 9 mana to go Glowfly Swarm with the Soul of the Forest, or
Yeah.
do you think you just need to? Okay, because that's the way I would lean. But maybe you do need to be a little bit more aggressive in putting something in front of your opponent to contest them in this matchup.
Yep. Look at this. Use of Savage Roar just to clear off the board. I do agree with it. I think, like, overall, just stop the aggression. Don't let Demon Hunter develop.
Yeah,
You do take 2-3 damage every turn, but, like, eventually that'll stop.
it's true, and it's not like you don't have a little bit of healing to stay relevant in the game.
Right.
And at some point, ideally, you're going to be putting up an enormous taunt like Ysera with, you know, Ironbark, where you're just not going to get attacked anymore.
And, yeah, if you look at what Empanizado is doing, the best choice at his disposal is to just develop onto the board.
Yeah,
But it doesn't feel great.
it doesn't. But you're kind of thinking to yourself at this point, all right, well, you know, I know the big turns are coming. He's used a lot of removal already. Maybe I can get some damage in. But another Bog Beam gets drawn by Language Hacker. Huh.
Yeah, this looks like you can just play Glowfly Swarm to me. Just to, like, it does get punished by Altruist, but you're not sweating it too much. Also,
Skull, but Warglaives may be the play here, you think? You'd be using up all of it.
yeah,
Taking
I'm
a lot of
wondering.
damage.
I'm wondering if it's actually an opportunity to even play Glavebound Depth and I-Beam in this position, just to get a lot of tempo on your side. So you would attack the 2/2. 1/1 trades into it, 4/3 chains into another, Glavebound Adept another 2/2, and then you, but then the 2/2 gets challenged by the Glavebound Adept. Doesn't feel great.
Right.
No, you have the I-Beam from there. Yeah, I actually think the Glavebound Adept I-Beam line might be better.
So then you end up with a decent board and then a single 2/2 on their side, if I'm following correctly, I think. Which, yeah. You take a lot less damage that way, too.
Well,
Just-
the punishment for, like, a Soul of the Forest feels really severe. That's the big thing that's on my mind.
Right. Oh, wow. He's just going to go for the... Warglaive play, though.
Yeah, like the world's worst consecration.
Seriously? Consecrate, but take 2 damage for every minion you kill.
Yeah, and if I'm Language Hacker, I'm pretty happy to have seen that. Like, in the sense that, obviously you would love to keep your 2/2s around, but there's worse things that could have happened.
Well, it's almost like you got a free attack with your board, and you also just killed a Warglaives that was in his hand.
Right.
Is what that kind of comes down to, and you made them skip their turn. That's kind of the result for Language Hacker, I suppose. It's one way to look at it.
Empanizado says, the longer I can keep this Frozen Shadow Weaver on the board, the more damage I can generate anyway, so I'll compensate for that over time.
Sure.
Except Language Hacker picked up the Bog Beam. He doesn't have to use it. He can go for Overflow this turn if he just wants to draw a bunch of cards. He's going to negate the damage that's on the board as well.
A little bit worried about that damage. When you get down to around the 15 health range against a Demon Hunter, you start to worry about the big bursty turns. Because remember, he hasn't seen any like Twin Slices or anything else come out yet, so there's a lot of like potentially cheap damage from hand that is yet to hit.
Yep. Lorindo has reminded us, by the way, that the previous tie in Grandmaster was Empanizado series when he played against Galen. It was Zoo versus Rogue, and I believe it had to be a Zoo drawing into fatigue kind of scenario. But Either way, this was wow. That Innervate draw for the Ysera Unleashed, and then the overflow afterwards.
Huge.
Good lord, that's a
Dude,
lot.
what a turn for language hacker. He's gonna have so much access to those dream portals so quickly. All right. Well, Volpera Scoundrel can find some useful stuff here, perhaps.
Yeah, and I suppose that ultimately this is why I wanted to get the Glaiveman Adept's turns out a little bit quicker, because if Druid wants to be greedy to play things like the Ysera Unleashed, you should be able to punish them immediately.
Yeah.
By dealing an extra 6. But in his case, Empanizado, I think he took a line of just like trying to preserve his board space. Oh my!
Oh, another
goodness.
Metamorphosis.
That is filthy.
No kidding. That's perfect right now. Gives you access to a lot more damage.
Oh, really
Any
now?
damage from hand.
Oh, this is actually really smart to stop
Huh.
a overflow turn if he chooses to mana burn right now.
You know, you're right. Yeah, because he saw Innervate being used and the coin to get out Ysera last turn, so... language hacker. So mad about that.
That's huge. That actually might win Empanizado the game because of that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now suddenly you go from potentially a ton of dragons hitting the board to like 0, so... Uh-oh.
That's so big. And
That,
now
ladies and
Language Hacker
gentlemen.
has to Moonfire and kill off, I think, this Satyr Overseer so he doesn't summon more.
That's a punish.
But he is so scared of dying on the following turn.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I was like so convinced that it was Metamorphosis, but Empanizado makes the correct read of Overflow in the hand.
Seriously. Empanizado going for the mental boom play.
Oh, for sure. So he goes down to 9. There's 5 power showing with the hero power.
Skull Gul'dan? Volpera Scoundrel could find something too, but...
Skull Gul'dan is likelier to draw lethal, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say I-Beam into Skull is probably it, isn't it?
It's what looks like it to be the case for me. Only because Volpera Scoundrel doesn't generate a lot of like Demon Hunter's damage that mainly comes from minions and weapons.
Right.
The spells themselves, like there's Twin Slice, of course.
Oh, he's going for it. He wants another Metamorphosis. Oh, he finds it! What?
What? I was gonna say, with the exception of Metamorphosis.
I don't know.
That's quite unbelievable.
No, this should... Alright, Empanizado wins, but that's like a dumb play I would make on the ladder. That should not win you a game at Grandmasters, but he does it anyway. He takes a chance. He
That
finds
was literally the only card that could win in that spot.
Like, we're not wrong, are we? It's like statistically a better chance to draw something lethal through Skull, right?
I mean, but at the same time, Empanizado knows that overflows in the hand at this point.
Sure.
So he says, if I don't win now, I'm never going to win, which I think is a very valid assessment.
True, but like, clearly he did not see Skull of Gul'dan as being the more likely play to draw lethal. And I don't know what the stats would be, but I know that Metamorphosis was literally the only card that he could have gotten from the Volpera Scoundrel that would have done it.
To end it that turn, yes. I mean, there's like other cards he could get for damage, like Twin Slice, and then he could like Skull Dan for maybe more damage.
But like you said, he kind of needed to win that turn.
Yeah, he needed to win that turn. There's 18 spells in Demon Hunter. You get 3 looks at it, plus a mystery choice. I mean, a 1 in 6 at that stage of the game. I mean, look, you talk about like how if you play it safe and you play it fair, your chances to win are 50-50, like in a vacuum, right? Obviously, there's a lot of factors going into it. A lot of times, you gotta take risks every now and then to get that win. And I think Empanizado made correct reads, and his decisions were super bold. And when they pay off, you gotta feel happy for the person, because that's like, that's what they were trying to do to win. He was recognizing that if the game went on any longer, there's a very high likelihood he would lose.
I mean, that was just like a total card game pro moment, right? Where it's like, when you feel that you're hot, you know? When you can feel that like streak going where you know you're gonna draw what you need, like you know things are gonna swing your way, like you capitalize on it, right? And you know, it's kind of seems like Empanizado had that vibe that game at least, and it paid
Sure.
off. But moving on to this game, what could be the final game in the series, and the final game for Language Hacker in Grandmasters this season if he doesn't get a win. Demon Hunter versus Druid, but the other way around this time.
Oof. That overgrowth into overflow. The overgrowths into overflow.
Right.
Language Hacker's gonna have to really make this turn hurt.
All I see.
And he does find the Crimson Sigil Runner, so I mean, wow, these are some explosive hands on both sides.
Yeah, it's a big board that Language Hacker is building, and it's gonna be tough for Empanizado to deal with it. Emerald Explorer, I guess there's one way. It doesn't really. It kind of feels like you're just delaying the damage if you play the dragon, whereas, although if you play that now, you can still overgrowth next turn, right?
Well, I think next turn he wants to play the exotic mount seller.
Yeah,
this
probably.
turn he's going to go ahead and ramp and most likely bug beam.
Fair enough.
I'd be very surprised if he chose not to. Like, I guess
No.
he would be greedy enough to play the exotic mount seller bug beam next turn.
Take
But
a lot of damage that way, though.
yeah, if you bog beam and hero power, what it allows you to do is play overflow next turn and then play the exotic mount seller.
Bog Beam it is.
Right.
Safer way to go.
And I think Language Hacker is really afraid of the Ysera coming out next turn. But when you see these many cards being dumped, I think it looks to him like it's going to be a overflow turn.
Right.
Oh, that's a good draw here for Language Hacker. Another one drop.
Yep. Kane Sun Fury comes in as well just to pile on the damage. And that allows you to play the Blazing Battle Mage for even more.
Hide behind your servants. I will still find you.
vengeance burn bright.
All right. And so suddenly this makes, you know, it seemed unlikely that there was going to be a Mount Seller turn anyway, probably from Language Hacker's perspective. But if there was, suddenly Ironbark is less useful. And the Ironbark is a draw too. But that taunt doesn't really matter when Kane is out on the board.
Well, he was
Preemptive
setting up
Kane
for,
is cool.
yeah, he was setting up for the overflow, and right now he's just willing to accept the fact that there's going to be 7 power on the board at least. Fungal Fortunes as a follow-up is also a possibility here.
Right.
I think he's tempted to Crystal Power just to take down some extra minions, though. Like, I don't know if he feels like in his mind he can afford to wait so long. And this is some of the challenge of the Dragon Spell Druid, because you do end up having heavy hands every now and then. Borderline unplayable hands.
Definitely looks that way right now.
I wonder.
You don't even really have
Time waits for no one.
any way to significantly remove this stuff. He's actually going to avoid the Crystal Power and go for the draw. He might draw into something that lets him play it yet. No, not this time. Oh boy, so here we go. Free and clear for Language Hacker to get in and do as much damage as he wants. And it's going to be a lot.
So there's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 through minions, 9 through the attack, 10 through the hero power.
Patient.
Actually, he wants a metamorphosis this turn, right?
Probably, yeah.
So it'd be 15. And then next turn, he would have 5 plus the hero power, so that's 6, plus the 2 twin slices, 8 guaranteed. That is lethal over 2 turns, if he can get to that point.
I mean, the biggest thing I think is that Kane Sun Fury is going to be around. You know, as long as he's around, the taunts don't matter. He's going to go ahead and Skull cool down instead.
Right. It might be good to actually keep this Kane alive. Normally, you want to play the sidekick onto weaker cards that are easily picked off, like the Battle Fiend. But if you buff the Kane Sun Fury, it doesn't matter if they Ironbark. You can just go through all of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's really the key. So I totally agree with putting the extra health on the Kane. Just make it harder and harder to kill, because I don't know how you kill it now.
Okay. Well, I do. You have to just get 2 rushers.
Oh, that's
Get
true,
2
yeah.
diving griffins.
A couple diving griffins will do it.
There's 1 rusher.
All right, Zixor. Oh, language hacker. Can't believe it. It's his tournament on the line right now.
I mean, his job's not done yet. He has to, like, crystal power the cane, I'd say.
You can also iron bark the rusher as well to add damage, I suppose.
Could.
All right.
Hot minion, which is somewhat relevant. Oh, he got some bog
no.
beam. Oh,
Language
my
hacker's like, no, please.
Ah.
What can you do? It wasn't the
And a
wrong choice. but-
porcupine.
Oh no.
It's like, okay, but you don't have crystal power. And he's like, you got crystal power.
Language hacker just pleading with his screen right now.
Yeah, and in some ways is kind of a punish for language hacker not choosing to play a metamorphosis turn last turn.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. He's staring at potentially game-ending damage here.
I am originally from the Midwest, and we are experts at understatement, Frodan. So here you go.
Yes.
It's a bit of a tricky situation for language hacker right now.
Yes. Okay, but he can still play Metamorphosis over 2 turns and then play the Glaive at Adept. He would Metamorphosis now, Hero Power, and then he saw Crystal Power not being used to heal. Oh, no, the problem that Alex Strauss. Oh, gosh.
The more Frodan thinks about it, the more he realizes how dead language hacker is. Most likely. Yeah, 5 damage in there, but the Alex Strauss in reverse. I mean, you know, there was an argument that maybe Altruis could help get enough damage done to face, and maybe that's what you're thinking about. Maybe you're like, I save these cards in case I draw an Altruis, right?
You could, yes, but
Or you don't.
I mean, Language Hacker isn't dead, but it's kind of like what you said. A lot of that damage can get undone because of the Alex Strauss. I was thinking of Alex Strauss offensively, but I mean, that's pretty much going to steal it here.
Yep, so you'd have 10 damage on the board. So if you Alex Strauss offensively, that would bring Language Hacker down to 5. So not really going to close it out. But what will close it out, I believe, is Alex Strauss on Empanizado himself. Bring himself back up to 15. That pushes him out of reach. Language Hacker just waiting for it. Yep, sees it. And
Okay,
that
so the
is...
final chance here for Language Hacker is the second skull.
Okay.
Is there a way to do this now?
I don't
Because he can
think
kill the
so.
Alex. He can kill the Alex now.
He can.
He's
Skulls
gonna
go down
go for the skull.
Oof.
Finds Altruis,
Well-
but it's too late.
Yeah, you're just not going to have the mana to play the Gladebound Adepts or, you know, the other damage. And
Right. Unless his next card's Twin Slice. If his next card is exactly Twin Slice number 2, and I'm not forgetting that he already played it,
I guess that's
there's
possible.
a small chance.
He's shaking his head. Didn't draw into the Twin Slice, drew into the second sight instead.
Oh, jeez.
Not enough mana to play that one.
Second Twin Slice may have stolen this one, but it looks like Empanizado's Dragon Spell Druid deck gonna outlast the aggression from the Demon Hunter.
I can't say anything bad about this. Although, he didn't really play too many of the dragons that you would sub in for the package, like the Emerald Explorer, things like that. He's more done with just regular Spell Druid cards. But that is going to be tough to survive. There is 13 on the board right now.
Yeah, he's not dead, actually.
Not yet, no.
Because Empanizado, he doesn't actually have much ways to add to the board through the Savage Roar. So I did call it a little bit early.
Well, you can clear and play the taunt here, right? If you're Empanizado, and that pretty much shuts down the Demon Hunter because you can't afford to play both Glavebound Adepts.
Right.
So
Can't actually even attack into something that isn't the taunt if you go if you clear it off here.
yeah. So while he's not dead, like on board right now this turn.
I mean, the overflow is overkill. But,
Crystal power though.
Yeah.
He's getting so much health back.
Exactly.
Claw, yeah.
Time waits for no one.
Claw gives you, effectively 2 health, right? And it helps you clear something if you want to. But... So that's really, what it comes down to is the Demon Hunter has effectively run out of steam.
Yeah. And so this is the final moments here, because Language Hacker, if he uses these Glaive Bound Adepts defensively, there's actually no more offense anymore that he can rely upon to kill in time, because the Druid's just going to overwhelm them.
Sure.
So he's going to go ahead and Spectral Sight. I think he needs Frozen Shadow Weaver. And it doesn't look like he found it, so that's going to wrap it up. Empanizado from the losers bracket gets revenge on Language Hacker and advances to the top 4 in his first season as a Grandmaster.
Wow, you can see him breathing a bit of a sigh of relief at the end there, but that was impressive. You lose that first round of the day, can't feel good. You battle your way back through like this, makes it the top 4.
That's right. So with that, Language Hacker season comes to a close. But, the story going into the series is that both these players, it was the first season of GM, and they both made it to at least the top 8. And Language Hacker even went one step further and was, tied for 5th for that season. So a really good result for him regardless. And, coming back into next season, I expect Language Hacker to still just be a threat.
Absolutely.
Especially with how seriously he's been taking competitive Hearthstone.
Well, there's certainly some disappointing in having your season end anywhere but, holding the trophy. But still, if you're going to choose a place for it to go out, playoffs is probably a good place for that.
Yeah. So there you have it. The 2 people advancing from Group A, Eddie and Empanizado. That brings us to our final match of the day, which is going to be a relegation bracket featuring Monsanto and Nalgidon. That's going to be coming up, and then we'll tell you a little bit more about how it works after the jump. So don't go anywhere. The final break of today is about to start, and when we come back, we're going to get Monsanto versus Nalgidon underway.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile,